You are welcome to my presentation on personnel cost budget. If you are coming across my lecture for the first time, please don't forget to click the red subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell icon so that you don't miss my upcoming videos. If you are a returning subscriber, I say thank you and God bless you. So, personnel cost budget. Personnel cost budget is the total of the basic salaries and allowances of the various categories of staff in each ministry and extra ministerial department. Personnel cost budget is the total of the basic salaries and allowances of the various categories of staff in each ministry or extra ministerial department. The salaries of workers grow in arithmetic progression, AP. That is why AP formula is usually used in calculating the personnel cost budget. Meaning that to calculate the personnel cost budget, personnel cost budget, you make use of the sequence formula, arithmetic progression. And AP, we have A plus, instead of N you have in the AP formula, you can take that to the X minus 1 into common difference, or multiply by N. This is the formula. AP formula is A plus N minus 1 into D. So I've changed the N here to X and I put the N here. Then this is the common difference. Where A equals to basic salary. X is the step in a grade level. Then D is the increment. That is the common difference. Increment, or the difference, the amount by which the salary rises. This N is the number of staff. Number of staff in a particular grade level. This is the formula for calculating the personnel cost budget. Now, let's take a work example. Example: Obafemi Owode Local Government Council is about to prepare its year 2009 budget. The following figures were made available in respect of the personnel cost of the works department for the year 2008. We have the office, number in post, grade level, and salary. City engineer, deputy city engineer, principal engineer, 2, 12, 15,000, 1,200. Senior engineer, 5, 10, 12,950. Engineer 1, 8, 9, 10,860. Then engineer 2, 8, 9,720. Chief technical officer, 2, 13, 17,000 and 1,500. Principal technical officer, 13, 10, 12,000 and 950. Senior technical officer, 18, 9, 10,000 and 860. Higher technical officer, 8, 9,000 and 720. Technical officer, 15, 7, 7,200 and 600. Artisan grade 1, 22, 5, 4,800 and 360. Artisan grade 2, 30, 4, 3,600 and 210. Drivers, 12, 03, 2,400 and 210. Cleaners, 18, 03, 2,400 and 210. Additional information. 1. The deputy engineer is due for promotion. 2. 1 senior engineer and 12 artisans are to be appointed. 3. The following are in the salaries range stated below. Salary scale 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number of staff. We have deputy engineer 1. Principal engineer 1, ni, and ni. Then senior engineer step 1 ni, step 2 ni, step 3 2, step 4 3, step 5 ni. Engineer 1 step 1 2, step 3 3, step 3 3, step 4 ni, and step 5 ni. Engineer 2 step 1 4, step 2 2, step 3 2, step 4 ni, and step 5 ni. Chief technical officer step 1 and 2 1 each, 3 to 5 ni. Principal technical officer step 1 5, step 2 3, step 3 5, 4 and 5 ni. Senior technical officer step 1 4, step 2 10, step 3 3, step 4 1, step 5 ni. Higher technical officer step 1 6, step 2 2, step 3 to 5 ni. Technical officer step 5 6, step 6, step 1 5, step 6 6, step 2 6, step 3 and 4 2 each, step 5 ni. Artisan grade 1 step 1 10, step 2 2, step 3 5, step 4 10, step 5 ni. Artisan grade 2 step 1 5, step 2 10, step 3 5, step 3, step 4 10 and 5 ni. Drivers step 1 ni, step 2 6, 3 6, 4 and 5 ni. Cleaners step 1 6, step 2 6, step 3 and 4 3 each, step 5 ni. Note 4. Except those on promotions, each member of staff will move to the next incremental step. Additional information 1. You were told that the deputy city engineer is due for promotion. Now, the deputy city engineer, if the deputy city engineer is promoted, so that means we have one number in post 1. So that one person will leave, so we have -1. So remain 0. Then if he is promoted, he will be promoted to city engineer. So that we are going to have +1 here. So -1, that one will not come here. It will now become +1. So we'll be having one person in city engineer if he is promoted. Now, note 2. 1 senior engineer and 12 artisans are to be appointed. If you employ 1 senior engineer, you have 5 before. If 1 is appointed, you have +1. And 12 artisan. Back to the question. 1 senior engineer and 12 artisans are to be appointed. If you appoint 12 artisans, this is artisan grade 1. If you appoint 12, you had 22 before. If you appoint 12, you are going to have +12. So 12 plus 22, that will be 34. Now, that is note 2. So we've done with note 1 and 2. Then note 3. The following are in the salary range stated below. These are their salary range. So meaning that the deputy engineer you were having before was in step 3. Step 3 before. So, and he had been promoted. So, then we also have note 4. Except those on promotion, each member of staff will move to the next incremental step. So, meaning that those in step 1 will now move to step 2. Those in step 2 will move to step 3. Those in step 3 will move to step 4. Those in step 4 will move to step 5. Except those that were appointed. You were told, except those on promotion, each member of staff will move to the next incremental step. That means those on promotion will move to step 1 of their current grade level. They will move to step 1 of their current grade level. While those who were not promoted, they will move to the next incremental step. That is what we mean by note 4. So those in step 1 here will move to step 2. Those in step 2 will move to step 3. Those in step 3 will move to step 4. These people will move to step 2. This one will move to step 3, and this one will move to step 4 in that order. Note 5. Staff allowance is 20% of salary. You are required to prepare the summary of the personnel cost budget for the works department for the year 2009. Ignore comparative figures for 2008. Now let's have the solution. Remember, the name of the local government is Obafemi Owode Local Government Council. Obafemi Owode Local Government Council. Summary of personnel cost budget for 2009. That is the requirement of the question. If you go back to the question, you were told to prepare the summary of personnel cost budget for the works department for the year 2009. So you are going to have number in grade level, number in level, we have grade, then we have salary. So we have city engineer. You were having, and nobody was in city engineer post before, and the one person who is now in city engineer was promoted from deputy city engineer to city engineer. That means you are not having one person in city engineer, and city engineer is grade level 16. Grade level 16. How much will now be their salary? Remember, I've told you that the salary will grow in arithmetic progression. A plus x minus 1 into D, all multiplied by n, where A is the basic pay, which is 24,000. So you have 24,000 plus x is step. Now I've told you that those that are promoted, they will be promoted to step 1. That means the one person who is now promoted to city engineer will be in step 1. So you have 1 minus 1 into D, and D is 2,400, which is the incremental, that is common difference, increment. And the number in that post is 1 person. So our n is 1. So this is n. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 times 2,400, it will still be 0. 24,000 plus is 0. It will still be 24,000. 24,000 times 1, then you have 24,000. 24,000. So that is city engineer, 24,000. Then after city engineer, you have deputy city engineer. Deputy city engineer. Deputy city engineer. You were previously having one person there, and the one person who was in deputy city engineer has now been promoted to city engineer. So that is why you are having 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 will be 0. So number in that level now will be 0. So, and that level is grade level 15. So nobody is in that position. So the salary at that position will be nil. That is for deputy city engineer. The next one is principal engineer. Principal engineer. Now, back to this table. The principal engineer, one person was in grade level, was in step 1, and the second person is in step 2. 1 plus 1, 2. So that is the 2 people you were having there. So the first person, I've told you that the salary is in the form of arithmetic progression, A plus X minus 1 into D multiplied by N. So the first person who was in principal engineer, who was in step 1, we now move to step 2 based on the note 4. Note 4, we were told that except those on promotion, each member of staff will move to the next incremental step. So the person who was in step 1 before, that is principal engineer, who was in step 1, we now move to step 2. While the person in step 2, we now move to step 3. So based on the note 4. Now, if this person moves to step 2, that means your A, your basic salary, which is 15,000, plus X. X now is step 2. Because this has moved to step 2. So you are calculating step 2 for the person who was here in step 1 before. So step 2 minus 1 into increment 1,200 multiplied by number in that step. You have one person in that step. 2 minus 1, that will be 1. 1 times 1,200, that will be 1,200. 1,200 plus 15,000, that will be 16,200. And you have one person. 16,200 times 1 will still be 16,200. That is for the person who was in step 1 before, who now moved to step 2. The person who is in step 2 before, this one, who was in step 2 before, will now move to step 3. So for that person now, the basic pay, A is still 15,000 plus step 3. No, the person has moved from step 2 to 3. Multiplied by the increment, which is 1,200. So multiplied by number in that post is only one person. So we have 15,000 plus 3 minus 1, that will be 2. 2 times 1,200, that will be 2,400 multiplied by 1. 15,000 plus 2,400, that will be 17,400. 17,400 times 1, so you have 17,400. So the total now will be 16,200. 16,2 plus 17,400. So you now have 16,200 plus 17,400. That is total 33,600. 33,600. That is for principal engineer. 33,000. That is grade level 12. Grade level 12. 33,600. After principal engineer, the next salary scale of grade level is grade level 10. In grade level 10, we have senior engineer. We have 5 were in that position before, and 1 new person was employed, making 6. So senior engineer. We have 6 employees, grade level 10. 6 employees, grade level 10. Now, the basic salary is 12,000, while the increment is 950. So now, let's first of all calculate for the one person who is newly employed. Remember, I've told you that the person who is newly employed will be employed on step 1 of the grade level. Now, senior engineer. So let's first of all calculate for the person who is newly employed. So the basic salary is 12,000. That means the value of A is 12,000 plus the step, that person will be employed in step 1. So step 1, which is 1 minus 1 into increment, which is common difference, increment of 950. And the number of employees in that level who is newly employed is 1. So now let's calculate that. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 times 950, that will be 0. 12,000 plus is 0. It will still be 12,000. 12,000 times 1. That will be 12,000. This 12,000 is the salary of the newly employed senior engineer. Now, the 5 people who were in that position before, 2 were in step 2, 2 were in step 3, and 3 were in step 4. Remember, 2 who were in step 2, since you were told in note 4 that except those on promotion, each member of staff will move to the next incremental step. 2 who were in step 3 will now move to step 4. Now, let's calculate for that. Now, step 4, 12,000 is the basic salary. A is 12,000 plus those people are now in step 4. X is 4 minus 1 into increment of 950. And the number of people who will now move to step 4 are 2 in number. So we have 4 minus 1, that will be 3. 3 times 950. That gives us 2,850. 2,850 plus 12,000. That is 14,850 times 2 employees. We have 29,700. Then 3 who were in step 4 before. Remember, these 2 have moved to step 3 and step 4. 2 who were in step 4 will now move to step 5. Now let's calculate for the 3 people who will now move to step 5. A is 12,000 plus they are now in step 5. X is 5 minus 1 into increment of 950 times their 3 employees. 5 minus 1, that is 4. 4 times 950, that gives us 3,800. 3,800 plus 12,000, we have 15,800 times 3 employees times 3. We have 47,400. 47,400. So now, you now sum it up. That means you have calculated for 6 employees. 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 3, 6. So now let's sum it up. Plus 29,700 plus 12,000. So we have 89,100. 89,100. After senior engineer, we have engineer 1. The salary scale, the basic pay is 10,000. Increment is 860. 10,000 by 860. The number of employees are 8. And their grade level is grade level 9. So, engineer 1, engineer 1. We have 8 employees. 2 of them were in step 1 before. They will now be moving from step 1 to step 2, as I've said. They will move from step 1 to 2. And 3 who were in step 2 will now move to step 3. And 3 who were in step 3 will now move to step 4. So, let's calculate for 2 who were in step 1 before. They are now moving to step 2. Their basic pay is 10,000. 10,000 plus, they are now in step 2 minus 1 into 860. And the number of employees who are now moving from step 1 to 2, they are 2 in numbers. So we have 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 times 860, 860. 860 plus 10,000, that is 10,860 times 2. That is 21,720. Now, 3 were in step 2 before. They are now moving to step 3. So we have 10,000 plus step 3 now, minus 1 into 860. And there are 3 employees. So 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 860. That gives us 1,720 plus 10,000. we have 11,720 times 3 employees. So that is 35,160. Then 3 were also in step 3 and they are now moving to step 4. So we have 10,000 plus step 4 now minus 1 into 860. And there are 3 in number who are now moving to step 4. 4 minus 1, that is 3. 3 times 860, we have 2,580 plus 10,000. We have 12,580 times 3 employees. We have 37,740. So now, let's sum it up. Plus 35,160 plus 21,720. That is total 94,620. So, engineer 1, we have 94,620. 94,620. After engineer 1, we have engineer 2. Engineer 2. We have 8 employees, grade level 8. 8 employees, grade level 8. 8 employees, grade level 8. Their salary is basic pay 9,000. Increment is 720. We have engineer 2. So the basic pay is 9,000. That means the value of A is 9,000 plus their salary step. For engineer 2, 4 were in step 1 before. Those 4 people are now moving from step 1 to step 2. Now let's calculate for 4 people who are now moving to step 2. They are now in step 2 according to the requirement 4, note 4 of the question, minus 1 into increment. Their salary increment is 720. 720. And the number of employees are 4. So 2 minus 1, that will be 1. 1 times 720 will be 720 plus 9,000, which is 9,720. Times 4 employees, we have 38,880. Then 2 were in step 2. They are now moving to step 3. Let's calculate their own. Basic pay 9,000 plus, now in step 3, they are in step 3 now, multiplied by 720. And they are 2 in numbers. Equals to 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 720 plus 9,000 times 2 employees, 20,880. Then 2 were also in step 2 and step 3. They are now moving to step 4. Let's calculate for them. We have 9,000 plus step 4. 4 minus 1 into 720. And they are 2 in numbers. 4 plus 2, 6 plus 2, that is 8 employees. 4 minus 1, 3. 3 times 720, that is 2,160 plus 9,000 times 2 employees. So we have 22,320. So now let's sum it up. Plus 20,880 plus 38,880. Total is 82,080. That is for engineer 2. 82,080. After engineer 2, we have chief technical officer. They are 2 in number. Chief technical officers, 2 employees, grade level 13. Their basic pay is 17,000. Increment is 1.5. Technical officers. So, chief technical officer, one person was in grade level 1 before. That one person will now move to, we're in step 1 before. That one person will now move to step 2. And one person who was in step 2 will equally move to step 3. So now let's calculate for the one person who was in step 1, who is now moving to step 2. So basic pay for chief technical officer 17,000 plus step 2 minus 1. Increment is 1,500 multiplied by one person. So 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 plus 1.5. 1 times 1.5, that is 1.5 plus 17,000, that is 18,500. Let's equally calculate for one person who was in step 2, who is now moving to step 3. So we have 17,000 plus 3 minus 1 into 1.5, and it's only one employee. So 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 1,500, that is 3,000. 3,000 plus 20,000, plus 17,000, that is 20,000. So if you sum it up, you have 38,500. That is for chief technical officer, 38,500. Chief technical officer, 38,500. After chief technical officer, we have principal technical officer. Principal technical officer. How many employees? Principal technical officer, 13 employees, grade level 10. 13, grade level 10. 30 employees, grade level 10. Their basic pay is 12,000 and increment is 950. Principal technical officer. Principal technical officer. Their basic pay is 12,000 plus. Now, principal technical officer. 5 were in step 1 before. Who will now move to step 2? So, which is step 2? 2 minus 1 into increment. Principal technical officer, the increment is 950. And the number of employees who are now moving to step 2 are 5 employees. So 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 times 950, 950. 950 plus 12,000, that is 12,950. Times 5 employees. So we have 64,750. Also, 3 were in step 2, who are now moving to step 3. 3 employees, let's calculate theirs. So we have 12,000 plus step 3 now, 950. And there are 3 employees in that step. So 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 950. We have 1,900 plus 12,000. That is 13,900 times 3 employees. So we have 41,700. You've calculated for 8 employees altogether. Then we also have 5 employees in step 3 who will now be moving to step 4. 5. 12,000 plus step 4 minus 1 into 950. 5 employees. 4 minus 1, that is 3. 3 times 950. That is 2,050 plus 12,000. That is 14,050 times 5 employees. So we have 74,250. 74,250. So now, let's sum it up. Plus 41,700 plus 64,750. So we have 180,700. So principal technical officer, 180,700. 180,700. Senior technical officer. There are 18 employees in that position and grade level 9. 18 employees, grade level 9. Their basic pay is 10,000 and the increment is 860. Now let's calculate for senior technical officer. Senior technical officer. So senior technical officer. 4 were in step 1 before. Who will now move to step 2? So, and the basic pay for senior technical officer is 10,000 plus step 2 now. And increment is 860 for employees. 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 times 860, 860 plus 10,000, that is 10,860. The whole of this is 10,860 times 4 employees. 43,440. So, we also have 10 employees in step 2 who are now moving to step 3. 10,000 plus step 3 now, 860. 10 employees. 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 860 plus 10,000. That is 11,720 times 10 employees. That is 117,200. We also have 3 employees in step 3 who will now move to step 4. So we have 10,000 plus step 4, 860, and for 3 employees. So 4 minus 1, that is 3. 3 times 860 plus 10,000. That is 12,580 times 3 employees. 37,740. Then we also have 1 employee in step 4 who will now move to step 5. 1 employee, 10,000 plus step 5 now, 860, 1. 5 minus 1, that is 4. 4 times 860 plus 10,000 times 1, it will still be 13,440. 440. Then plus 37,740 plus 117,200 plus 43,440. That is total 211,820. So senior technical officer, 211,820. Then after senior technical officer, we have higher technical officer. Higher technical officer. Higher technical officer. So their basic pay is 9,000. Their basic pay is 9,000, an increment of 720. So A is 9,000 plus, what is their step, salary step? That is higher technical officer. 6 were in step 1. Who will now move to step 2? So step 2 now, 2 minus 1 into increment of 720. And how many employees? 6 employees. 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 times 720, that is 720 plus 9,000, that is 9,720 times 6 employees. 58,320. 2 were in step 2 before. They are now moving to step 3. So we have 9,000 plus step 3. Increment of 720. And for 2 employees who are now moving to step 3. So 3 minus 1, that is 2. 720 times 2 plus 9,000. We have 10,440 times 2 employees. That is 20,880. So if you sum it up, plus 58,320. So that is total 79,200. So higher technical officer. So there are 8 employees, 6 plus 2, 8. We have 79,200. 79,200. After higher technical officer, we have technical officer. Technical officer. And that is how many employees? 15 employees, grade level 7. 15, grade level 7. So, their basic salary is 7,200, increment of 600. Their basic pay is 7,200. Technical officers. So basic pay of 7,200 plus. So for technical officer, 5 were in step 1 before, and they are now to move to step 2. So step 2, 2 minus 1 into increment of 600. How many employees were in step 1 who are now moving to step 2? 5 employees. 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 times 600, that is 600. 600 plus 72, that is 7,800. 7,800 times 5 employees. So we have 39,000. Then 6 were in step 2 before, who are now to move to step 3. 6 employees, 7,200 plus they are to move to step 3. 600, 6 employees. 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 1,200, that is 2 times 600, that is 1,200. 1,200 plus 7,200, we have 8,400 times 6 employees. We have 50,400. Then 2 employees were in step 3. Who will now move to step 4? We have 7,200 plus step 4, increment of 600, and we have 2 employees. 4 minus 1, that is 3. 3 times 600, that is 1,800. 1,800 plus 7,200, that is 9,000 times 2, that is 18,000. 2 employees were in step 4 who will now move to step 5 as well. So we have basic pay 7,200 plus step 5, increment of 600, and the number of employees 2. 5 minus 1, that is 4. 4 times 600, that is 2,400. Plus 7,200, we have 9,600 times 2. So we have 19,200. So if you sum it up, plus 18,000 plus 50,400 plus 39,000. So that is totaled 126,600. So technical officer, 126,600. After technical officer, we have artisan grade 1. Artisan grade 1. You have 22 employees before. 12 employees were employed during the year. 22 plus 12, that will be 34 employees. Artisan grade 1 consists of 34 employees. Grade level 5. Grade level 5. Artisan grade 1. Their basic pay is 4,800. 4,800. I want to consider the newly employed staff, the newly employed artisan. I told you that newly employed employees will be placed on step 1 of their grade level. So since they will be placed on step 1, so we are going to calculate step 1 for those employees who are newly recruited. Step 1, x is 1 minus 1 into increment. The increment for artisan is 360. 360. The newly recruited artisan grade 1 are 12. So we have times 12. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 times 360 we have is 0. 0 plus 4,800 we have 4,800. 4,800 times 12 we have 57,600. Then artisan grade 1 we have 10 before in step 1. So those 10 will be moving to step 2. So we have 4,800 plus 2 minus 1 into 360 multiplied by 10 employees. 2 minus 1, 1. 1 times 360, we have 360. 360 plus 4,800, we have 5,160 times 10. We have 51,600. Then, 2 people are in step 2, and they'll be moving to step 3. So we have 4,800 plus 3 minus 1 into 360, all multiplied by 2. 2 people are now moving to step 3. So we have 3 minus 1, 2. 2 times 360, that is 720. 720 plus 4,800, we have 5,520 times 2. That is 11,040. Then 5 people are in step 3 who will now be moving to step 4. So we have 4,800 plus step 4, 360, all in multiplied by 5 employees. So 4 minus 1, 3. 3 times 360, we have 1,080 plus 4,800. We have 5,880 times 5. That is 29,400. Also, we have 10 employees in step 4 who will now be moving to step 5. So we have 4,800 plus step 5 into 360 multiplied by 10 employees. 5 minus 1, 4. 4 times 360, that is 1,440. Plus 4,800, so we have 6,120 times 10. That is 62,400. Now let's sum it up. Plus 29,400 plus 11,040 plus 51,600 plus 57,600. That is 212,040. 212040. If you count the number of artisans here, we have 12 plus 10, that is 22, plus 2, that is 24, plus 5, that is 29, plus 10, that is 39, which is more than 34 we have in the question. So that is to show that if you sum up this, 10 plus 2, 12, plus 5, 17, plus 10, that is 27, which is more than the number of the existing artisans of 12. You know you had 12 artisans before 22 artisans before 12 were newly recruited. Now, if you have the number of artisans, 22 plus 12, it is also be 34. Now, but if you sum up this, it's more than this one plus the 12 that are newly recruited. You will discover that it is more than 34. So I want to adjust this one down to 5. There is an error in the question there. So now let me write down this one to 5. So you can make that correction in your question. 10 plus 2, 12, plus 5, that is 17, plus 5, that is 22, plus 12 that are newly recruited. So it will now be 34. Now, since we have changed this to 5 now, those that are moving from step 4 to step 5 will now be 5. So instead of 10 now, let's have 5. So 5 minus 1, that is 4. 4 times 360, that is 1,440. Plus 4,800, that is 6,240. Times 5 employees, times 5. So we have 31,200. Now, let's sum it up. 57,300. 57,600 plus 51,600 plus 11,040 plus 29,400 plus 31,200, and it is total 180,840. 180,840. So artisan grade 1, 180,840. After artisan grade 1, we have artisan grade 2. They are 30 in number. Artisan grade 2, 30 employees. Grade level 4. Their basic pay is 33,600 and increment is 210. Artisan grade 2. Artisan grade 2. 5 were in step 1 before, and they will now move to step 2. So we have the basic pay is 3,600 plus step 2 now, minus 1, increment of 210. And number of employees who are now moving from step 1 to step 2 are 5 in number. 2 minus 1, that is 1. 1 times 210, that is 210. Plus 3,600, that is 3,810. Times 5 employees. We have 19,050. Employees who were in step 2 before are 10 in number. They are now moving from step 2 to step 3. So we have 3,600 plus step 3. 210 is the increment, and they are 10 employees. 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 210. We have 420 plus 3,600. We have 4,020 times 10. We have 40,200. Then Employees who were in step 3, who will now move to step 4, are 5 in number. You have 3,600 plus step 4, 210 is the increment, 5 employees. 4 minus 1, that is 3. 3 times 210, that is 630, plus 3,600. We have 4,230 times 5 employees. So we have 21,150. Employees who were in step 4 were 10 in number, and they are now moving to step 5. So we have 3,600 plus step 5 now. 210 is the increment, and the number of employees are 10. 5 minus 1, 4. 210 times 4, that is 840, plus 3,600. We have 4,440 times 10 employees. We have 44,400. 44,400. Now let's sum it up. Now the total number of employees, 5 plus 10, 15, plus 5, 20, plus 10, that is 30. So it corresponds with the number. 44,400 plus 21,150 plus 40,200 plus 19,050. That is total at 124,800. 124,800. So we have 124,800. That is for artisan grade 2. After artisan grade 2, we have drivers. Drivers. The number of drivers are 12. Grade level 3. 12 employees. Grade level 03. Drivers. We have 6 were in step 2 before. 6 drivers were in step 2. And they are now moving to step 3. So we have the basic pay of the driver is 2,400 plus step 3 increment of 210. And the number of drivers who are now moving to step 3 are 6 drivers. 3 minus 2 minus 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 210, that is 420 plus 2,400. That is 2,020 times 6 employees. So we have 16,920. 6 were in step 3 who are now moving to step 4. So we have 2,400 plus step 4. 210 is the increment multiplied by 6. So 4 minus 1, 3. 3 times 210, that is 630 plus 2,400. That is 3,030 times 6 employees. So we have 18,180. Now let's add it up. Plus 16,920. So that is total 35,100. 35,100. That is for the drivers. 35,100. After drivers, we have cleaners. Cleaners. The number of cleaners we have are 18. We have 18 cleaners at grade level 3. 18 grade level 3. Their basic pay is 2,400, increment of 210. Cleaners. Basic pay is 2,400. So 6 cleaners were in step 1 before. We will now move to step 2. So step 2, 2 minus 1 into increment of 210. 6 cleaners. 2 minus 1, 1. 1 times 210, that is 210. 210 plus 2,400, that is 2,610. 2,610 times 6 employees. So we have 15,660. Then, since we're also in step 2, who are now moving to step 3? We have 2,400 plus step 3, 210. 6 employees. 3 minus 1, that is 2. 2 times 210, that is 420, plus 2,400. We have 2,820 times 6, 16,920. We also have 3 employees in step 3 who are now moving to step 4. So we have 2,400 plus step 4, 210, 3 employees. 4 minus 1, 3. 210 times 3, that is 630, plus 2,400. We have 3,030 times 3 employees. That is 9,090. We also have 3 employees in step 4 who are now moving to step 5. 2,400 plus 5 minus 1 into 210 multiplied by 3 employees. 5 minus 1, that is 4. 4 times 210, that is 840 plus 2,400. We have 3,240 times 3 employees. 9,720. So, if you add the number of employees, 6 plus 6, 12. 12 plus 3, 15. 15 plus 3, 18. 18 employees. Now, what is their total remuneration? 9,720 plus 9,090 plus 16,920 plus 15,660. So total 51,390. That is 51,390. You now sum up all the remuneration for Obafemi Owode local government. Obafemi Owode local government. So we want to sum up all their remuneration or their salary. 24,000 plus 33,600 plus 89,100 plus 94,620 plus 82,080 plus 38,500 plus 180,700 plus 211,820 plus 79,200 plus 126,600 plus 180,840 plus 124,800 plus 35,100 plus 51,390. So that is total 1,352,350. We were told that staff allowance is 20% of salary. You are required to prepare the summary of the personnel cost budget for the works department for the year 2009. Ignore comparative figures for 2008. So the staff allowance is given to be 20% of salary. Now, let's have staff allowance. Staff allowance. We were told it is 20% of salary. We have 20% of salary. We have salary of 1,352,350. Then calculate 20% of that. 20% of 1,352,350. So we have 270,470. 270,470. 1,352,350 plus 270,470. Total 1,622,820. This is the total personnel cost. So that is the end of the solution to the question. Thanks for watching ZICA. Please don't forget to like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you have not done so.